for me, I've never seen it. I seen it one time at the Motocross of Nations at Fox Hills RV, my first Motocross of Nations I raced. It got red flagged halfway through the race. There was so much rain, and there was a hill on the track, and there was bikes just scattered all over it. So we were like lined up, right? Because we couldn't go anywhere. And we saw a marshal come in. He had a red flag, and he basically just directed us over to where the finish line was. And they called the race from that point on. I think it was halfway between Moto 2, and they canceled the third Moto, I believe, if my mind serves me. Outside of that, I've never seen anything. I've never seen this situation. So definitely a shock. Got a ton of fan questions this week, RV. But first and foremost, before we get to the questions, we have a soundbite from Mike Peltier and explaining the situation and the weather and why they came up with the decision that they did to call the remaining of the race with 2 motos to go. Roll it.
Okay, so what's the situation? This is certainly not something, I don't know if I've ever seen a race being called early like this, but is that what is going to happen?
That is what's going to happen. We tried our best to fit this back in, but due to the continuous lightning in the area, we don't have a window to do so with the diminishing daylight. So we are going to move away from and call the second motos. We'll base the results in points off the Moto 1 scores.
Yeah, the lightning. That's really what it comes down to. We certainly had a lot of rain. The rain wasn't the issue, I would imagine, though. It never has been before.
It's true, yeah. The lightning in the area, we just couldn't get a window when they kept popping up around us. So we continue to monitor that. Due to the safety of the riders and all our staff and the fans, we just couldn't fit it in.
Well, there you go. I mean, Mike explained it well. There's definitely some upset people for sure. Like, where do you sit with this, RV? Do you have an opinion at all on it?
Yeah, I think number one, cancellation, like Mike said, was all based on lightning. That's the number one thing about why they chose to do that. Yeah. That's one thing that it has been a rule for a very long time. Pro Motocross, Supercross. Well, Supercross obviously is a lot of them are indoors, but still, nonetheless, safety with the lightning. So I understand why the cancellation. Man, I was looking forward to watching a mud race. I haven't seen a good proper mud race in a long time. So as a fan sitting on my couch, looking outside, 96-degree weather, I was looking forward to watching a good mud race.
I know, right? I think the last time we saw one was Boston race at Gillette Stadium. Remember when the red or the cross flags was going crazy and Chase jumped on it? Remember that?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, we've had a couple, but I think that would have been a really gnarly one. As everybody saw, the way SMX Track Crew built that track, definitely way more technical, way softer, way more outdoors than it was previous year's Charlotte race.
100%. Yep, 100%.
And that's what they're after, right? They're trying to combined as a Supercross track amongst a pro motocross conditions, and we for surely got that this round one at Charlotte. We had a lot of different riders having different opinions on how the track was during practice and into the night show or into the day show, into the main program. So I thought it was pretty good from the standpoint of sitting on the couch.
Yeah. You liked the layout and the design and like the balance between a little bit of Supercross and the rest of the stuff?
I did. I thought, if I had to say anything, obviously I didn't ride the track, obviously, heard all the different comments from different racers, top racers and guys that are outside the top 10, like that, just going through comments and things like that. Maybe it was a little bit heavy on the prep side early before. I mean, nobody knew we were going to get the rain. I mean, I think it was in the broadcast a little bit, but like, as we all know, we're not changing our program based on weather. So they prep, they do their deal. SMX Track Crew does what they're supposed to do to build a great track and great facility there. But man, it was pretty damn deep, RC. Like in the back there was some sections that were still, I mean, even after the first motos, if you weren't leading, you were plastered. Your bike was plastered. It looked like a true outdoor race. So, which was cool. but maybe we could take 10% out of it, 15% out of it and make it a little more raceable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So what they did, RV, is I talked to SMX track crew, and they put like a base layer down of mulch. And what they think, the reason that it was so soft and so heavy, especially in that back section and probably some of the jump faces, what some of the riders were alluding to, their dislike from certain sections of the track, was it just didn't dry out. Like that mulch was holding the moisture. And as they're working it, it just didn't dry out. And there was a ton of, like, the sun was blaring. I got there Friday morning, and it was like sun was blazing pretty much all day through Saturday until it rained. And I just think, that mulch was holding that moisture and it never dried up, especially like you're talking in that back section. I would have preferred, from a racing standpoint and like a spectator standpoint, being in the booth, I would have preferred it to be a little less deep and a little less heavy so they could move around a little bit more. 100%.
Yeah. So it comes down to lightning number one. Have to keep that at the forefront of all of that for safety of the riders. And I think, the amount of rain that came down, like I saw some footage, multiple pieces of footage, and it was coming unglued out there with the rain, rivers running through parking lot, things like that. So I think a little bit of it too, like Mike had said about timing, trying to figure out how we could get the race finished up with before it gets dark and things like that. With that amount of water that came down onto the track, I think they were going to have to do some track changes and things like that. And once it was that muddy, you're not changing any, you're just going to make it worse. So I think they made the right call in the end. I really do think they made the right call. If I was a racer sitting there that day and we just concluded the first motos, I can be honest. I'll speak for myself. I wouldn't want to go back out in those conditions.
Hell no, me either. I don't care if if I didn't win, I'd be like, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So I think they made the right call. Number one, the call was based on lightning. So everybody needs to recognize that it wasn't how much water we had. It wasn't just the track changes, daylight. It was lightning, number one. And then obviously watching how much rain came down, trying to fix the problems that they had at hand. I don't think it was a feasible option.
100%. And I know there was some upset patrons for sure. I understand their side, if they wanted to see all of the races. But at the same time, like you said, RV, and like Mike said, I mean, just the lightning was a problem. And I kept watching the radar in the booth. And as we were on a delay, it's just these little cells kept popping up, and literally, like, we were joking amongst the broadcast team and like production crews, like, if it wasn't on NBC, big NBC, there would have been no rain. There would have been no delay. It's like, go figure. As soon as we're on the big network, something like this happens. So I understand the fans and how they're upset, but lightning isn't anything to play around with. I know it sucks. And also, we were getting backed up on time as well in daylight, like Mike explained. And like you just said, so like the dirt works, there were no lights in the back section. So you had that challenge. So they were going to have to modify the track to some extent. And how long was that modification going to take? There were so many different moving parts. At the same time, we were talking about time, there were still lightnings, little cells popping up. And so I understand both sides. It's not perfect. At the same time, I hope that, most of the fans, and hell, dude, I got to tell you something, RV, I was in the paddock and the fans were awesome this weekend. That place was rocking. The fan fest was going off. So hopefully most of the fans, like, weren't just there for the races and went and enjoyed the fan fest. And I can tell you that, again, I think it looked and it appeared as that was the case. So, if you were there for 8 hours and the last hour and a half got canceled, I guess, it sucks. But I mean, I think most people made a day of it. And,
yeah, man, I looked, a lot of the broadcast footage showed the campers, like just from the outskirts around the track and stuff. So that was a really cool thing too. Obviously it got nipped short. Head back to the camper, and I guess keep the drinking going.
Right. And again, I personally don't enjoy mud races. I don't know that a lot of the riders like mud races. And, I think, and obviously this is a personal opinion, just like you wouldn't want to go out there. I wouldn't. I'm sure other riders would have loved to go out there, but it sucks. Like, again, the lightning was there, and I'm like, I was bummed because I did want to get all of it in, but at the same time, they just couldn't pull it off, and, and light restraint as well. So safety, all was basically the call. And I do think they made the right call. It sucks. And I feel for the people who are upset and don't feel like they got their money's worth, but that's above your and I's pay grade, brother.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports. If you enjoyed what you just watched, well, it's time to bring the action and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. You can have it all: news, highlights, interviews, and analysis. So go for it.